everyone, welcome back to A Model Recommends. Welcome to my kitchen. I promised you a cooking video, and so here we are. Haven't done one in years. Starting off with something very healthy and nutritious. This is, I think, the best vegetarian. In fact, it's vegan. It's very spicy, it's very pokey, it really fills you up. Never really cooked a lot of meat or fish at home, mainly because I'm lazy and cheese is a lot easier. But in the last year or so, I've been really trying to just keep it to a minimum. So this is, normally I find chilli is really, without meat, really boring and just quite tasteless. However, I have discovered this little jar of wondrousness, and it's basically changed the way I cook chilli. Not chili con carne, that one stays the same, but this, if you're just using vegetables, is amazing. You can probably get it from other supermarkets. I'm allowed to say this is from Sainsbury's because it's not the BBC. I've paid for it, it's not sponsored, but they do this thing called spicy chipotle chili paste. And it's up from the dry spices, well actually I don't know, because I don't know which Sainsbury's you go to, but it's sort of in the spice aisle. I can imagine you can get it from other supermarkets as well. I mean, really, this video should be called A Good Way to Use Spicy Chipotle, 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 one of those. It should be called How to Use This Paste. Bloody hell, I googled before I did this video to know exactly how you say it and the right accent and everything. And for some reason, I'm looking at it and all I can hear is like a really broad Somerset accent going, Chipotle. Now I can't remember how you're supposed to say it. Anyway, let's give this a little open. Wish I hadn't done that. God, it's gone right up to my brain. So basically, this is like jalapeno peppers, but they've been smoked and then it's been made into a paste. It's pretty powerful stuff. And of course, you can get loads of different types of chili paste, but this one, I think it's the smokiness that somehow works with the beans and the vegetables. We've got one chopped onion, we've got one chopped orange pepper, a half of a red pepper because it was left over in the fridge, so I thought I'd chuck that in. A couple of cloves of garlic, 2 fresh red chillies, as well as the chili paste that we're putting in. And then I've got 2 types of bean. It's like a bean fest. But you know, that's good because protein and fibre and all that kind of stuff. But you can put mushrooms in if you want to. Also courgette works really well, but I forgot to buy one of those as well. So this is a bit of a bean, it's bean chilli. And I'm also going to stick some sweet corn in, which is really outrageously inauthentic, I'm sure, but it actually tastes really nice. Okay, so we've got black beans in water and red kidney beans in water. Now we're going to cook this on the Aga. Well, you're not going to cook it on the Aga, I'm going to cook it on the Aga. If you don't live in the UK and you're wondering what the hell an Aga is, it's basically this big hunk of iron behind me it's sort of like the equivalent of just taking money and a lighter, walking out into the garden and just setting fire to it. It's on all the time. You can't turn it off. You have to actually physically disconnect it. So, I mean, it's always on, which has its advantages, but at the same time, I mean, it's like running a permanent, massive radiator. All right, are you following me thus far? Okay, so ramble. Need a big pan, okay? Oh, where's the big pan? Okay, so big pan, pretty high heat is what you want. So I'm going to use vegetable oil. You could use olive oil if you wanted to, rapeseed oil, whatever you fancy, but I'm going for the veg today. And then I'm going to fry off my onions, and I want to fry them until they're really sort of brown and caramelised. And I would find with this, with the chilli and with curries, just got to get the onions right. Just keep going for ages and ages and ages and really get them Oh, like, you know how they smell when you go to the fair and you want them in a hot dog? Okay, so onions are nice and brown. I'm going to add my peppers and my chilli, not the garlic just yet because I don't want that to catch and burn. It just burns really easily. Just let that fry off a little bit. And we can also talk about accompaniments, can't we? If you mash up avocados, tiny bit of lime, don't put any chilli in there, so not guacamole. It does have a creamy sort of cooling effect. Can we just talk about avocados though? Because I feel like when you buy avocados in the UK, you are taking the risk of financial ruin. I mean, how many avocados in the UK are actually edible? I'd say it's like avocado roulette. It's maybe 1 in 8. The rest of the time, it's just like the most expensive failure known to man. I really hate buying avocados. Okay, so spices now before we put in the chilli paste and the garlic. 1 heaped teaspoon of cumin and just a tiny bit of allspice. So I'm not actually that keen on allspice, but it does make a very rounded taste. And I got my garlic. And I've got my chipotle paste, but most importantly, I've got my chopped tomatoes ready to go. So if any sign of burning or catching of these spices, I'm straight in with my tomatoes. So I'm going to use quite a lot of this paste. And you've just got this most intense sort of, oh, it's just lovely. Really cooked down onion, peppery, chilli, smoky base. And then in with the chopped tomatoes. And what I tend to do, because I cook it down for quite a long time, is I add another half tin just of water, and then that gets all the bits from the inside as well, look. And black beans. I mean, you don't, honestly, mix up whatever you want. It works really well with courgette and mushroom. You could just choose one type of beans. But I quite like, when I make a dish of anything, I like it to last 2 or 3 meal times. And then we've got sort of 2 or 3 meals for the week sorted. And it means you don't have to cook every single night, but we still have something nice and fresh. We might tweak it in a different way one of the nights, have it something different. I've got taco shells here, I've got rice here. You could have it with salad. But yeah, you know, just mix it up. But I'm putting in loads of beans. I've got the sweet corn as well, just because I want it to last for a good few meals. Do you know what? I'm not going to put the sweet corn in. I feel judged. I feel like it would look really juvenile. Like something you'd have at an 80s party. So I'm not going to put the sweet corn in, but I can tell you it is so delicious with sweet corn in. Just doesn't look very Instagram friendly. Right, I'm going to move my chilli from the, don't know what it's called, really hot plate over to the not so hot plate. If you've got a normal sensible cooker, you can just turn the heat down slightly. I'm going to use the hot plate to cook my rice. I'll tell you what, I've just remembered why I don't do cooking videos, and that's because you need to change the camera angle about 70 million times. It's the most tedious thing in the world. Almost there though, forgot to put salt in. So a bit of salt into the chilli. Large pinch. I've got very low blood pressure. Don't know how. Got myself a coriander plant that's so far managed to survive about 20 minutes and already looks dead. But never mind, I'm going to wash these leaves and I'm going to use these as a garnish. I might put some in the, I'll put some in as well, but I'm going to use them mostly as a garnish to make it all look really nice and fresh and attractive. So looking at something the other day about food styling, and a lot of the things that you see in food shoots aren't even food. They've got like paint on the top, or plaster of Paris, or I don't know, like weird stuff that's not even edible. They use even on beer. I think it's washing up liquid they put into beer to make it foam in the adverts and stuff. Couldn't believe it. So, you know, there's them with their paint and me with my dead coriander plants. Okay. Oh, let's not put that back on there. So everything's ready. Rice is done. The chili's had a nice good cook down. Let me actually just give it a bit of a taste. My avocado, bloody avocados, stuff has gone all brown because that's what happens because it's such a useless thing. And my beany chilli. Ow! With no mushrooms, no courgette because I've got them. Extra beans. It's bloody delicious. Oh, do you know what would make that even better? Tomato ketchup. Or some kind of sweetness. I know I probably shouldn't admit this, but you know, if you ever just need something just livening up a bit and a little bit sweeter, tomato ketchup is so good for doing that. Is tomato ketchup vegan? I mean, it should be, shouldn't it? What's it got in it? Tomato, spirit vinegar, sugar, salt, spice, and herb extracts. I mean, it's about as vegan as it gets. Nice big dollop of that in there. Let's give it another taste. I mean, really, I should have just lied and said, oh, that's delicious. And then job would have been done. I could have stopped filming and eaten my lunch. But I have to be honest with you, that was slightly overpowering on the old spices. All right, Mr. Bear. So much better. I'll add that to the recipe. About a large tablespoon of ketchup does the trick. Rice. And then our delicious, beany, vegan, ultra nutritious, pretty spicy chili. Here we've got a bit of avocado to keep it strictly vegan, or even just vegan. And I've got my coriander leaves. I mean, that is just spot on. Really, seriously, a great alternative to a meat chili con carne. And it's really filling. It's just as filling. Tastes amazing. Nice and healthy, easy to do. If you don't faff around like I do, you could probably do this in about 20 minutes. Although, I have to say, here I go again, that it tastes a lot better if you let it cook for quite a long time. So I tend to start it at lunchtime or just after lunch and then let it cook on a really low heat. Please do join me for more very professional, expert cooking demos. Make sure you like, subscribe. I'll put the links to, don't even know what below, there aren't any links really. I'll put the recipe below and then it will save people having to watch this absolute disaster.